Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everybody back to the ballroom. Can everybody please find their seats? I know we're all anxious for lunch and awards. Thank you. And the rule is you have to start with the chocolate cake. So I'd like to welcome everybody back to the ballroom, but it is my pleasure to start off the lunch in part with introducing the Philanthropy Partners of Cape Cod's Board President, Ms. Jennifer Curran. Could you please come up?
Hello, thank you all for joining us today. I've heard some great things already as I've been walking around, and one thing I heard from a lot of people, they said, wow, there's a lot of people here. So we're very excited to have such great attendance this year and to see you all here. Thank you, Cindy, for the introduction. My name is Jennifer Curran. I am the Director of Development and Communications for Pleasant Bay Community Boating and the President of Philanthropy Partners. All right. This is our 27th annual Philanthropy Day on Cape Cod, so we're very excited. Time flies when you're having fun. So this is my 9th Philanthropy Day. I will say it started like most people. My boss at the time had invited me, you should come attend. And then I one day found myself on a committee, and then I found myself volunteering, and then I was on a board, and then they said, and now you're president. So here we are, but excited to have 27 years, and we already are in the planning for next year. So PPCI, as you know, is dedicated to supporting the philanthropic community and inspiring charitable giving. We do it through educational initiatives and networking opportunities for our members. Membership with PPCI has a lot of benefits. If you're not a member, we do encourage you to please sign up. There is a table right out in the hallway by the exhibitor tables with some membership information. We ask you to join more than 320 organizations, businesses, and members of PPCI. You can also visit our website, capecodgiving.org, for more information. We also ask you to please consider being a volunteer. It's really fun. It takes a lot of work to pull these sort of events off, as well as our small events throughout the year. We are planning for 2 educational luncheons next year and 2 networking events, our annual meeting, and the signature event of Philanthropy Day. So we are always looking for volunteers, and those usually come from all of you, the attendees and the members. I want to thank our board of directors. We are nearly an all-volunteer organization, and we rely heavily on the time, talent, and expertise of our board. Can I please ask my fellow PPCI board members to please stand up? Don't be shy. Thank you. And also a big thank you to our administrative assistant, Jean Crofis, which many of you deal with your registrations and all of the details that keeps PPCI running. Thank you, Jean. In the spirit of Philanthropy Day, we're excited to announce 2 mini grants today. They will be awarded to PPCI members. You must be present to win. In the back of your name tag is a sheet of paper with your name on it. And if you're joining us, we hope you are, at 3:30 down at Bogies for our after-hours networking part. We will be putting your name in for a chance to win. There are 2 $500 grants that we are happy to give away, and we'll be doing that today at 3:30. I'd like to thank our speakers and panelists and all the time and knowledge that they have been sharing with us today and throughout the year. And thank you again to our annual sponsors that really make a difference here for PPCI. Your support makes a big impact on what we can actually offer to our membership. And today would not be possible without all of our supporters, everyone in this room, and many more that aren't even here. So please make time to visit some of our sponsor tables and exhibits out in the hallway. We welcome you all to enjoy your lunch, and we'll be back on the stage at 1:30 for the highlight of our day, our awards ceremony. Thank you all so much.
Good afternoon. I hope everybody is enjoying or enjoyed their lunch. For those of you who are just joining us, my name is Cindy Cotton, and I'm the Executive Director at the Osterville Village Library.
And I'm Sarah Anton, Director of Philanthropy for Calmer Choice. Would our President, Jennifer Curran, please come up to assist?
Now, without further ado, Sarah and I are honored to present this year's Distinguished Service to Philanthropy Awards. During this inspirational portion of the program, we will announce the awards category, present a short video illustrating the awardees' remarkable accomplishments, and then welcome the recipient to the stage for a presentation, photo, and a few words. So we're going to get started. Outstanding Youth Organization Award. The Outstanding Youth Organization is presented to a youth or youth organization that has demonstrated outstanding philanthropic commitment through fundraising efforts and/or coordinating involvement to the benefit Cape Cod and the islands. Could we please roll the video?
Hi, I'm Desiree. I met Marilyn about 15 years ago through a program called Residents Encounter Christ. And I hit it off right away, and she ended up becoming a spiritual mentor to me. And at the time I met her, I was incarcerated. When I got out, she got me right involved in volunteering work and got me involved with Youth Street Reach. And it was the best thing in the world for me. It really enlightened me, and I found it so very important to give back to the community. And Marilyn was the spark that got me going.
Well, I think I was in 8th grade when I first came here. It was me and my mom, just us. And because she was like, hey, Nana's doing this program. I don't know if you want to come. And I was like, I'd love to help out, Nana. I'll come through, see what it's like. And then after that first time, I really just fell in love with it. It's so much fun. Obviously, I bring like all my friends, and that's part of what's great about it, is it's not just like work. It's really like something I enjoy. There's definitely like a stereotype for people who live on the streets or don't really have homes. Almost 100% of the time it's wrong. They're truly like incredibly thankful for even like the slightest things. You could say like, have a good day to someone, and just like their face brightens up immediately. And that's really one of like the most amazing feelings you can get, is like truly seeing how you can impact someone positively.
Hi, I'm Marilyn LaRiviere, and right now I am the Director of Homeless Ministries for the Cape Cod Council of Churches. I've always been involved in youth ministry, and in 2007 I was at a church, took some kids to Boston, where we did a program with the homeless, and we came back to the Cape, and the kids said, we really need to do a program like that for the homeless on Cape Cod, and that's how it started, and that's why we call it Youth Street Reach, because it's the youth that guide it. It's the ones that started it. And it started 17 years ago. So the youth that I have now weren't born when we started, which makes me feel really good, like we have a legacy that's just kept going. It isn't about winning awards, but when I think of awards, I think of the young people that started this program in 2007, 3 young girls, and Christopher Bolden. And Christopher sadly passed away at age 28 of glioblastoma, but he left a real mark on the youth that were to follow. And in fact, we have a little award that we call the Christopher Bolden 110% Award that we've given to 3, happens to be 3 young men that have just gone beyond and above what they need to do. You know, they've made this their passion, and they represent his legacy. Every time we do a breakfast, I have a little sheet that says we need 8 casseroles, 9 dozen eggs, 9 dozen hamburger rolls, all that kind of stuff. And if anybody is interested, we would love to have them participate by just doing that hands-on kind of activity, but also financial donations would help, because we we give all of our volunteers these T-shirts. I think that's very important. And a lot of our guests ask for them too. And it kind of says that message, making a difference one at a time. So we have expenses, obviously, so we can always use that. But really, we're looking for prayers. We're looking for people to buy the eggs and to just come and join us.
I am pleased to announce Youth Street as the Outstanding Youth Organization of the Year. Please join me in welcoming Marilyn LaRiviere, Program Director, to the stage, and her crew. Come on, guys.
Wow. I love these guys. So I just want to thank the Philanthropy Partners of Cape Cod and the Islands for selecting us for this award, to Pat Donahue for nominating us, and to the First Baptist Church and the Council of Churches for supporting us. And everything that I wrote has already been on the video, so that's a good thing. But I did want to mention that we need to lift up the people in 2007 who started this: Kelsey, Liz, Sophie, and Christopher. They began a legacy that has lived on. And one of the things that we're all about is making a difference one at a time. If you look at the world, if you look at Cape Cod, if you look at anything, you could just be overpowered with the problems. So what we're about is just providing a safe space, a place where people can come be themselves, and where these young people develop passion, purpose, and possibility, for sure. You could have written that about this group. And I wanted to, there's a little story that we tell, and a year ago, I couldn't be at one of the breakfasts because I had COVID, and so my grandson took over telling the story. So Isaac, I think you have to tell the story.
Well, the starfish story is a story of a young man walking on a beach as the tide goes out. And thousands of starfish, and they're all going to die because they're not in the water. Tide goes out. And he's walking and throwing a couple back in as he goes. And an older man comes over and asks him, why are you doing that? You're never going to make a difference. There's thousands of starfish. You can't save them all. And the young man picks one up, throws it back, and says, it made a difference to that one.
And that's really what we're all about. So feel free to join us. Happens to be November 23rd at the Baptist Church. Love to have you come. It's a transformative experience. When we started this, it was because young people saw a need. They saw that there were homeless people on Cape Cod, and so they went to fulfill that need. What we didn't realize was the effect that it was going to have on the hundreds of young people that have gone into social work. We have people in medical field as a direct result of the empathy that they felt there. So one of the things that happens is they know how to listen. They talk to our guests, and sometimes people, well-meaning people, philanthropy kind of people, think they know what people need, and so they clean their closets and they, give stuff. And people that are homeless don't need cloth coats. Please don't give me any more cloth coats. They get soggy and they smell like a dog. And, it's just no use. What they need, though, and the thing that the kids found out when we went to Boston and when we're here, they really want to not be invisible. If you ask anyone, they will say their biggest problem is loneliness. And that's something that we can do something about. Everyone can, and they all do. So, but they also listen. A few years ago, one young man was talking to one of our guests who was looking for long underwear. We didn't have any long underwear. The next month, this young man came back with a case of long underwear. So it's all about listening, just being there. And so I just could not be prouder of all of these kids. And I just thank you. I don't know if any of them want to say anything.
You said it all.
We said it all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. What a great group. And Cindy, yeah, tissues. Oh, thank you. Okay. Like Cindy, I thought Cindy was going to bring tissues, but wow, that was fantastic. The Outstanding Business Award is presented to a business that has demonstrated outstanding commitment through financial support and through encouragement and motivation of others to take leadership roles toward philanthropy and community involvement in response to local needs. Video, please.
I'm Kristen Marshall. I'm the Executive Director of Entrepreneurship for All Cape Cod. We're a nonprofit that helps locals start businesses, so we're an inclusive business accelerator. When I first started to kind of promote E4All across the Cape, nobody knew what it was. And so I was going to all these networking events, and I went to one at Cape Cod Beer, and I think it was the Cape Cod Women's Association annual meeting. And Beth was just so nice to me, and she essentially allowed me to speak, and I don't think I was supposed to be able to speak, and then she bought me a membership to the organization. So just right from the beginning was really, really supportive of E4All, of me, so I'm thankful for that. Cape Cod Beer is a really wonderful venue. You can fit 100 to 150 people in their tap room. I just looked up on Google Calendar, I was like, how many times have we done an E4All big event in their tap room? It's been 11 so far. So 11 times they've made it really easy on us to have a large event, and essentially in-kind donations. That's been super, super helpful to us.
So knowing the Marcuses for many years and seeing their business model, giving back to the community, really trying to encourage and educate people on the importance of keeping money here on Cape Cod, I found two business owners that became friends that believe in the same thing I do, and that's supporting the Cape, supporting the programs and the nonprofits that exist here on Cape Cod. And I'm quite surprised that it's taken this long for them to be recognized for this award. So I laud them for their genius, I laud them for their business model, the successes they've had, all they've done in terms of giving back to this community, their dedication, the influences they've had sitting on boards and participating in these local nonprofits. Their support has been recognized by many of their peers, including myself, and I think it's wonderful that they're being recognized for this award today.
Sure.
You go for it.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Beth Marcus, and I'm the business manager at Cape Cod Beer.
And I'm Todd Marcus, and I'm the brewmaster and president here at Cape Cod Beer.
It became way more than beer. I mean, pretty early on, I don't know, I don't want to say it surprised us. You know, everybody thinks, oh, you started a business, you must know what you're doing. But in most cases, you're just, you're like putting one foot in front of the other, seeing if stuff works, adjusting as you go along. And all of a sudden, you're like, wow, we are way more than just making beer and selling it to people, And then all of a sudden, you start to realize, like, okay, we could actually do some good here. Like, we could make a difference here. And that's always sort of been, like, how do we do that? Conservation is very important to us. Clean water is really important to us. Supporting the community. But how can we, use the space that we have, the people that want to hang out with us? How do we put it all together and create a sort of a better version of our community?
The conversations that we have with people, like I said, people come up and you'll be at an event and they're like, wow, Cape Cod Beer, I really love what you guys do for the community. I think it's great. And then you look down and they're drinking a competitor product. But what people need to understand is that we can't continue to do that unless the people that are out there congratulating us on all the things that we're doing for the community are actually buying our product. They should just take that extra minute to think when they go to buy something is, you know, am I supporting a good corporate citizen, or am I supporting somebody that has no idea, you know, whether it's on Cape Cod or in Cape Cod?
Yeah, right.
I'm thrilled to announce Cape Cod Beer as the Outstanding Business of the Year. Please join me in welcoming Beth and Todd Marcus to the stage.
All right. I didn't think I'd cry at my own video.
We drew straws. He lost.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here today. Got to do it this way. All right. I already did the good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Well, thank you for being here in Cape Cod. And thank you to the philanthropy partners of Cape Cod and the Islands for recognizing Cape Cod Beer and our philanthropic efforts and awarding to us the Outstanding Business of the Year. I'm going to take a little aside here because I'd like to congratulate them when they mentioned that they were 26 years old this year. I have to, knowing as a small business, and I'm sure many of you in this room, even in your own organizations, knowing how hard to keep it together year after year, to be 26 years, I'd like to congratulate you and have everybody congratulate you as well. While my wife Beth and I are thrilled to be awarded and recognized, I would definitely be remiss if I didn't express our sincere appreciation for the people in our company who, over the last 20 years that we've been in business, have embraced and fostered our company culture of responsibility to support the community in which we work and live. So joining us here today, I'd like to thank, in chronological order of their company appearance, MJ Carpenter, Amanda Kaiser-Childs, Martina Meal, and Leanne Anderson. Without the loyalty, support, and immeasurable efforts of these women to uphold our corporate social responsibility, we would not be up here today accepting this award for Cape Cod Beer. Thank you very much. Also joining us today, without whom neither Beth or I would have been able to achieve pretty much anything, we'd like to thank Beth's dad, Jim Melvin, and my mom, Sheila Marcus. Thank you both for all of your support and having us. So I don't want to get the hook, and my time is probably limited, so I'm going to keep my message simple. I wish I could say that things are getting easier for us to run businesses and organizations on the Cape, but unless somebody knows something I don't, that doesn't seem to be the case. I understand that buying choices have been made easier and perhaps more affordable these days by the click of a mouse button. Buying from a local business that supports the community doesn't always mean that you'll find an item in the exact color that you're looking for, the exact size, or the best deal, or whatever your kids ask you for Christmas. It's like, well, I can't just go online and order that all the time. What it does mean is that the next time you see that a business is hosting or sponsoring an event or showing up to give you their time or product, it's because of you. We are all facing economic challenges, and we all know that nothing makes you feel the pinch more than walking out of the store with one bag of grocery these days for which you just paid $100. We sincerely appreciate the recognition, but for small businesses like Cape Cod Beer to sustain in this challenging environment and continue to do good by supporting your organizations, it's going to take more than this award. It's going to take a conscious effort by everyone in this room and beyond. The holidays are approaching quickly. Time for shopping, holiday parties, and family gatherings. You have an incredible opportunity to help some very deserving businesses in our communities. Finish the year strong by making good buying choices. Please choose wisely. Cheers, be well, have a great day, and thank you, everyone.
Wow. Okay. That was very well said. Our next award is Outstanding Volunteer Award. The Outstanding Volunteer Award is presented to a volunteer who demonstrated exceptional leadership and skills and is an outstanding philanthropic commitment through fundraising efforts and coordinating community involvement to benefit the Cape Cod and Islands. Could we have the video, please?
Hi, I'm Alicia Conlon, and I'm the Executive Director of Wellstrong. My favorite, it's not even a memory or a specific time, it's all the time. I enjoy working alongside Amy so much. I've enjoyed the friendship that we've grown together. I really consider her a mentor, and I just like that I can show up authentically, and I know she's showing up authentically. One of the things she told me right from the beginning when I started at Wellstrong was, make sure that you take care of yourself. Like, make sure that you take care of your mental health and your recovery. Like, those come first before anything else. I think that this award shows all of the effort behind the scenes that has been poured into Wellstrong to get it to where it is, so that we've had the ability to hire people in recovery, continue to expand our programming, and eventually hopefully we're going to be opening up a second location soon. And that's all because of Amy.
What quickly became abundantly clear to me after meeting Amy was the level of selflessness that she had, which I had not really been privy to before in my life. And a lot of the times I think being a good volunteer or volunteering is associated with selflessness. But with Amy, it's even a step more than that. It's not selflessness, it's that she intrinsically fills her cups and her joy and love in her heart by helping other people. And I think that's what really kind of sets her apart as a special human being. And which is why we've seen her do so many wonderful things, because it not only does it benefit and help the community flourish, but it helps her own heart flourish. I'll be forever grateful for knowing her.
There is one thing that has happened over and over and over again that's been really, really special, and that is meeting people that have walked through the door of Wellstrong, whether they are coming in looking for a job or coming in as members, and getting to know people and watch them grow from a position of being scared or unsure, or especially in the areas of wellness, and then all of a sudden now they're running road races and completing triathlons or attending yoga classes, and just to see that transformation and become friends with so many people here and carry those friendships on. It's just been really, really special. So I think it's important for people who are considering donating to Wellstrong to really understand how much support people in recovery need to be able to continue on. I think a lot of people don't understand addiction in a way that they understand the whole process. I think people see people struggling and know that there are treatment centers and there's ways that they can get help. And then a lot of people believe that once someone's gotten help, that's the end of the story, that's the end of the path. And I think what Wellstrong shows is that people need a lot of support to get back on their feet. And for different people, it's different amounts of time. It could be months, it could be years. And to have that support makes all the difference in the world, so these cycles aren't repeated over and over. And when you look generally, you see a lot of money in the community going to prevention and treatment, but you don't see a lot of money going to recovery, which is such an important part of the journey. People have made a decision to start their lives over, and they've had a difficult time to get where they are. And it's a period of time where that support gets them to that next level as opposed to going back to where they came from. So it's really important to support recovery.
Please join me in welcoming to the stage Amy Doherty as our Outstanding Volunteer of the Year.
First of all, I have to say that the Cape Cod is an amazing place. I've lived here my whole life. And first of all, to see the organization like Philanthropy Partners of Cape Cod bring all of us together is absolutely amazing. I'm so grateful to be selected for this award. I stand up here among amazing people in the community, and I see Marilyn LaRiviere, and I went to school with her daughter and her other children. And my father and mother are there, and Marilyn and my dad went to elementary school together. And E for All gave Wellstrong the very first grant we ever had. And I have attended running groups at Cape Cod Beer. I mean, it's just, Cape Cod is just absolutely incredible. So I'm really happy to be part of this community. So being named Volunteer of the Year is truly, truly humbling, and I'm so honored. So many of you know that volunteering isn't just about giving time. It's about creating change, especially for somebody who needs it the most. And while this award is because I've been able to do something that means a lot in my heart, it's about much more than just one person. For those of you who don't know, Wellstrong is a community-focused organization that provides people in recovery a safe space, supportive peers, and access to healthy activities. It began with a simple idea inspired by my own experiences and the amazing women I met at Emerson at Gosnold. Over the years, I've been so blessed to give my time to Wellstrong, but I give so much thanks to the love and the support of the countless volunteers and board members and donors who made a difference by helping Wellstrong grow from just an idea into reality. I am incredibly grateful for everyone who's been part of this journey, and especially my husband, Sean, who not only supported countless hours that I gave to Wellstrong, but who also stepped in himself, giving his own time and even money. His support has meant the world to me, and without him, Wellstrong wouldn't have flourished. Volunteering for Wellstrong has always been a source of joy and purpose for me. I've watched people in early recovery find hope and strength through fitness and meditation and the support of others on a similar journey. Watching somebody cross the finish line of their first 5K, knowing the struggles that they've overcome to get there, is absolutely unforgettable. I've seen people gain not only physical strength, but also confidence, achieving things they have never thought possible. I've seen people build new relationships, go back to school, find new careers, buy houses, and it just goes on and on and on. But while I was working to help others, I personally was getting so much back in return. I have grown in so many ways. I've learned how to be a better leader and a better friend. I've learned valuable lessons about resilience, about compassion and teamwork. I've met some of the most amazing people, many who have become dear friends from both the recovery community and the volunteer communities. Today I am honored by this award, but my true reward has been these experiences. To be part of an organization that has touched the lives of nearly 3,000 people is beyond anything I could have imagined. To all the volunteers here who are giving so generously and making a difference, together we are building a stronger Cape Cod, one act of service at a time. Thank you for all you do and for allowing me to share this remarkable mission with you.
Thank you so much, Amy, for all that you've done, and to Wellstrong for everything that you do for people in recovery. The Outstanding Philanthropist Award is presented to an individual with a proven record of exceptional generosity through their own financial support and a generosity of spirit and civic responsibility that sets a leadership example, encouraging others to take philanthropic roles in the local community. Would you please roll the video?
You know, it's been a long history with David and Gail. I've been in Cape Cod Healthcare for 16 years and met them soon after I had come. Through the philanthropic efforts, we've opened the Oppenheim Medical Center in Chatham, as well as enhanced the Fontaine Medical Center in Harwich. And by opening services like urgent care, like primary care, behavioral health, cardiology, physical therapy, lab, imaging, we've been able to bring care closer to where people are. And that makes a big difference when you think about our demographic. What I love most about David and Gail is they just don't give. They want to understand. They want to participate. They want to invest their time as well as the resources. They want to make sure that they're making a difference. And then they take it one step further. They actually get their friends and colleagues and people that they know in the community to come and want to support the projects that they're investing in. The trickle-down impact is substantial. So yeah, they give money, but they give time, they give energy and passion, and then they bring others to the table. That's the benefit that they have, and it's just not healthcare, right? It's it's housing insecurities, it's food insecurities, it's not-for-profits that are making a difference all across the Cape. These are terrific people, and they stand for all that's right in giving in the philanthropic community.
David and Gail make community investments in the same way that they build their businesses. Where is the opportunity to have the most impact? They give in a quiet but meaningful way, except when they want others to come along with them and rise to the occasion, of which David in particular has been known to twist an arm or two, to inspire others to up their philanthropy, to really help an organization kind of cross a finish line or really make something happen. And so I really appreciate that, you know, they give very consistently of themselves, of their resources, in ways that they know make a big difference in communities where they can see the lives of their employees, their neighbors, people who work in town are improved by the kinds of services that they help organizations provide, like healthcare, food security, job opportunities, stability in their lives when something goes awry. They really like to see that first person impact.
David and Gail's leadership has just been inspirational in this community, and they've really raised the bar in just very significant ways. So I think people now look to where David and Gail putting their resources and where it's their focus and their attention to help identify the needs in the community and then support those efforts as well. So their mentorship has just been awesome. I think their responsiveness to the needs of the community at large, whether it be We Can, where they've done just amazing work, or any of the housing agencies, HAC, CDP, or healthcare. Clearly, everybody here knows that they have just made a huge impact on healthcare, which has meant such a huge difference to a lot of people here on Cape Cod. Amazing thing about David and Gail is just watching them weave their goodness and their understanding of this community into the benefit of all of us who live here. It's been a remarkable journey.
The thing about getting a donation from Gail and Dave is that it's like getting a good housekeeping seal of approval, right? They know the community needs. They've studied it. They've researched it. They've lived it. They really go in deep with an organization, knowing board members, our financials, our competitors, if you will, you know, other people in our space. And so when they sign on to an organization, it is really a significant, not just financial impact, but the leverage that they have. Our donors look at our list, and when they see their name on the list, they know that we're a good investment. We're incredibly grateful to get that seal of approval from them and, of course, their financial resources. The Oppenheims have been living at the forefront of the housing crisis for 20 years as business owners, very successful business owners. They've done rental assistance for their employees. They've purchased housing for their employees. They've developed programs in their own town for housing and housing creation and housing affordability. So a donation to housing assistance or the other housing agencies that they support is really an amplifier to their core belief and what they see as important in our community. Safe housing, food, really economic mobility for people that wouldn't have a chance or an opportunity without bringing these array of services together for them.
I am delighted to announce Gail and David Oppenheim as Outstanding Philanthropists of the Year. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
I should have written something. I tried, but I always usually rip it up. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank whoever put the photo in the paper from 10 years ago. Brought back some very, very nice memories. Thank you to the Philanthropic Partnership for this award. It's very nice to be recognized. Things like this. Here's a group today that's you're here to learn about philanthropy, and some of the seminars you've had has taught you how to generate philanthropy more efficiently and do things better. I'm looking out at the audience, and there are people here that I think our family's dealt with for 20, 30, and 50, over 50 years that we've been working with them. And throughout this, we've learned from them. Hopefully, we've been able to contribute some of our input, and it's made some things better. But I just want to touch on one other thing and dear to our hearts, which is we all know everybody sitting in this audience, entire auditorium, is a philanthropist, is a volunteer. They're here to give back to the community. And I think when people talk about philanthropy, they need to talk about a triangle. And part of the triangle is the giving, the money that can fund the staff and organizations that do so much for this community. And then we have these wonderful staffs, some of the people that were up talking on these videos, and how much they do to create programs that will work to help the people in need on Cape Cod. And then there are the volunteers. And the volunteers, we all recognize Cape is blessed with having an enormous amount of volunteers. But I want to just take a little different tact. And I started thinking about this when this came about, surprise, the value of the volunteer philanthropists in terms of dollars and cents. And I don't want to make this about money. I just want it to be part of Philanthropy Day. So when I first started looking into this, because when you look initially at a definition of philanthropy, they'll talk about donations of money for good causes. And of course, that's what philanthropy is in many ways, but I think it's a broader definition, which I'll get to in a minute. So I started asking about how many volunteer hours are there really? And I asked Lisa if we can, and Lisa said last year we can't have over 8,000 hours of volunteer time. And the state of Massachusetts, I guess, however governments do things, it values a volunteer hour at $40 an hour. I'm rounding up 39. That's over $300,000 just that we can. And then I called Chris at the Family Pantry, food security all over Cape Cod. 85,000 hours last year, 85,000 hours. That's over $3.4 million worth of philanthropy from the volunteers. I called Habitat. We all know they build houses for people, affordable houses that their families will be safe and they'll have their place of their own. 75,000 hours last year. Over $3 million worth of philanthropy. And then you take Cape Cod Healthcare with all their auxiliary groups and everything else, 105,000 hours. And that's over $4 million. That even rivals some of the big donations they get there. So there's 4 organizations on the Cape with combined 300,000 hours of volunteer philanthropy with a value of over $12 million. Now let's expand our thoughts. Do you know how many council on agings? There's 15 council on aging on the Cape. They're all volunteers almost entirely. The children's funds around where they take care of kids and the needs of the families. I'll never come up with all of them because there's so many. The faith-based organizations on Cape Cod that do so much for their congregations and for their communities at large. The different organizations like HAC or CDP, the Homeless Prevention Council, people that volunteer at libraries to teach kids what books to read or advise people and do things like this. People that are actually on town boards, conservation commissions and things that protect our environment. They're all philanthropists and all their time has a value. The banks and community businesses that were awarded tonight, they're phenomenal with what they do. They give them of their own companies. They give their people time to go out and volunteer and make the Cape a better place. I estimated, and I'm just a guesstimate, and I think I'm very low, and I'm going to be very conservative, that in this little peninsula that we have with a year-round population of about 220,000 people, we're over 1 million hours of volunteer time. I think it's much higher than that, but that's $40 million based on the value. That's a pretty big contribution that you all make. So for Gail and I, we've talked about this. It all works. You need the money to start to fund the programs for today and in the future. You need the staffs of these wonderful organizations to organize the programs that are going to work. And you need the people to bring the community to the people in need. And that's what the volunteers do in this community. And they do it now because the need is now. And they do it tomorrow because the need is tomorrow. And they'll continue on. We are so lucky to have an army of volunteers in this town. So Gail and I, in looking up definitions of different ways of describing philanthropy, came up with a different one. We sort of think philanthropy is sort of a state of mind. But the one we came up with that we read that was the most was philanthropy is giving gifts of time, talent, and treasure to help make life better for other people. And I think that describes philanthropy from all aspects. And we want to be, we accept this word, we're honored by this award. We thank you for this award, but we thank you most for considering us part of the team of people that give their valuable time, their incredible talents, and their treasure to make this place a better community. Thank you.
We have an incredible Cape Cod, as Amy very well put. This has been an amazing time. I hope you have enjoyed this part of our inspirational program on the awards. I know we sure did. One quick housekeeping item. Tomorrow you receive a survey via email. Please participate in the feedback because it's very important to us. This program is prepared for you and we want your input so each year we can improve to make it more valuable to you. So now we're going to have a quick break, and then the next session will begin at 2:30 for the last group of workshops. And then after that, we'll meet at Bogey's Tavern for the mini grant. So we hope you'll continue to celebrate and enjoy and network with your fellow nonprofit community. And thank you so much to all our awardees and everyone for participating in this meaningful time. Thank you.